At this point, research is clear. Men with low testosterone have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and then men with type 2 diabetes often have lower or even borderline low testosterone levels. And why is that? A lot of guys are told to just lose weight or cut carbs to fix their blood sugar. But what they're not told is this: if your testosterone is low, your body is working against you. I'm Dr. Adam, and I work with men who are dealing with type 2 diabetes, low energy, stalled weight loss, despite doing all the things right. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the physiological link between low testosterone and insulin resistance, how the two conditions reinforce each other. We'll break down the hormonal loop that's often overlooked and what you can start doing today to turn things around. Here's what most people miss. Low testosterone can actually cause insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can lower your testosterone. It's not just correlation, it's a feedback loop. So one fuels the other. So think of it like a chicken or egg situation, except both are dragging you in the wrong direction. My take is just to stop debating which one came first and fix them both. Here's how the cycle typically unfolds. Blood sugar stays high from an ultra-processed foods diet. So your body releases more insulin, and then that chronically high insulin tells your body to store more fat, especially around your belly. And more belly fat increases an enzyme called aromatase, which converts your testosterone into estrogen. Then less testosterone means less muscle, less drive, less metabolism, and that lower muscle mass and activity means even more insulin resistance. And then this loop continues. That's why I say that belly fat, especially visceral fat surrounding your organs, it isn't just cosmetic. It's a hormonal storm. Visceral fat releases inflammatory chemicals that make insulin resistance worse. At the same time, your testosterone drops, which makes it harder to build muscle or burn fat. At that point, good luck. It becomes nearly impossible to make progress with diet and exercise alone. Plus, with lower testosterone levels, you don't just lose muscle, you lose motivation. So energy dips, libido drops, you're mentally foggy, you don't feel like yourself. That's not just in your head, it's a biological feedback loop. At this point, research is clear. Men with low testosterone have a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and then men with type 2 diabetes often have lower or even borderline low testosterone levels. And why is that? Well, it's because testosterone isn't just about your libido. It affects muscle tissue, especially muscle sensitivity to insulin. It affects fat distribution. It affects your mitochondrial function, which is your body's cellular engines. And then when testosterone is low, your muscle responds less to insulin. So blood sugar stays elevated and then fat gets stored easier. So it's not laziness, it's physiology. And as you'd expect, just taking more meds to lower blood sugar won't fix the underlying problem. It doesn't address the hormonal dysfunction that's often driving this disease. Well, the good news is that you can reverse this. Both low testosterone and high blood sugar levels are reversible. And no, you don't necessarily need testosterone replacement therapy or TRT. Here's where we start. First, know your levels, and not just total testosterone. What's your free T, your estradiol, SHBG, and even DHT? Once you have a full testosterone panel, you will know what needs to be fixed. And then you have to lower insulin resistance. And my preference is through nutrition, strength training, and proper recovery, so your sleep. You can build muscle mass to increase testosterone production naturally, especially focusing on the largest muscles in your body, so your legs, your glutes, your shoulders. And all those labs that I mentioned earlier are the same ones that I track to monitor progress. So if you do have type 2 diabetes, I would also add fasting insulin, home IR, and even track your waist to height ratio. This will give you a more detailed assessment of your overall metabolic health, just beyond just your A1C and total testosterone. And here's what I found with the guys I work with. As insulin resistance goes down and strength goes up, your testosterone production starts naturally rising again, and without the injections. Often that's all it takes to get your total T up to 500. And that's typically the sweet spot where things start to click. Your drive returns, you lose belly fat, you get stronger, your blood sugar starts to stabilize, you start getting morning erections again. When you dial in your blood sugar and your testosterone, the whole system stabilizes. So here's the takeaway. For men, low testosterone and type 2 diabetes feed off each other. The more insulin resistant you become, the more your testosterone drops, and the more your body fights against fat loss and motivation, hence the vicious cycle. But with the right strategy, you can break the cycle, you can regain your edge and reverse both issues at the same time. Okay, if that was helpful, subscribe for weekly breakthroughs in men's metabolic health, including tools to reverse diabetes, optimize testosterone, and master your diet and lifestyle. All right, let's get to work.